Hello and welcome back to Venus. I'm Mick, we're playing Stationeers. Now it is day 153, so it's been a little while since the last episode. We've been, I think about day 130 last episode. We've been watching the plants grow basically and amusing ourselves. We've been playing dodgeball. You ready? Well, Wilson, you're the ball. You're out. Cosmo's out. Walter. Well, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. I guess you can't dodge a wrench or a ball. Well, anyway, enough of that. Now we've been, planting winter spawn, and we see that our temperature and our nitrogen is now getting rather cold because I planted probably too many of the winter spawn there. So I went and pulled a heap of them out in panic because it's really cold. We've been feeding water into it really fast and I've used up all of my steam and there was nothing left for the water into that one there, into the composter, so I ran out of steam. So yeah, that's that. But because we do have that extra cold, I've managed to switch off all of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of those have now been shut down, and instead I'm using this one here. Now this one is, well, it's running basically at 100% now. The temperature differential efficiency is very good because it's very cold in the nitrogen, minus 30.2 degrees, and to cool out here, which is pretty easy. So pressure efficiency is low, but I had the same on the other one there. It's because it's low pressure in here. But it is, so that one was running at about, I think, 15% efficiency for 7 of them. Now I've switched it over. I've got one of them and it's running at over 100% efficiency. So that's certainly an improvement. And as you can see, my battery is very appreciative of that. It is staying pretty good. But as I say, I have shut off our water, so that water that's coming in now is just what is being condensed by the composter through this machine there. It's switched off at the moment, but it will switch on every now and then and make a bit more water to try and keep, there we go, switched on again, to try and keep at least a litre in there. But that means I have switched off everything else. So these ones here are switched off. These are the ones that are making our cold water. That one's making our hot water. So I don't think I've got enough cold there to actually cool down everything. So that one just makes the hot water that it needs to. And everything else is just running on cold water. But I've got plenty of oxygen. I probably want to get the water going. So I've got more food planted. Ooh, they're ready to pick. I'll get Larry picking them pretty soon. But I've got to rearrange some stuff here to get a sorter in. Ooh, potato. Floor potato. Ooh, potato. Ooh, potato. That hits the spot. A yummy bit of floor potatoes. And, oh, there's more. Ha! Win! They're probably all hiding behind the cupboard, are they? No. Anyway. So I need to get these things growing in the bush. Because this should be going up again now. Because I've got them switched off. It is just getting the water that it needs for this thing and not for the other ones. So I probably want to switch these ones. Well, I've got them switched off now, but I probably want to automate that so they switch off when there is not much pressure in there. That's what I was trying to do with the back pressure regulator a while back, and it didn't really do me much good. 31.7, yeah, that is getting colder. I could probably get... You don't have a temperature in you, don't have a chip in you. If I put another graph onto there, you go away. You on. Can I put one there? I have a cross piece there which is going to nothing. I probably shouldn't have that on there. I'm pretty sure it's going to nothing. Yeah, that won't rotate. That should just be a T piece. So I should now be able to put my graph onto there. I can hook you up to cable there. I'll need to put in a chip somewhere. I've probably got space for another chip right there by the looks of it. Excellent. So I'll put up a nitrogen chip and it will graph, but I'll put the on this one instead. I think we should put the temperature instead of the gas, because I've burned up most of me volatiles here, so that is pretty much just we're using whatever we got, and we've got surplus oxygen because I've got plenty of other things coming in, and as I say, our water's coming down because it is switched off, and yeah, that nitrogen is definitely getting colder. But I shall need to grab, ooh, look at this, I tidied up. It does happen. I think I had a memory. I do have a memory. I do remember that I have a memory. Where's I going to put the chip? Somewhere? No. I can pull that one off. So grab you. There's my other chips. There isn't anything there. Why can't I put my logic memory on there? I can put my logic memory there. Stop complaining. And, oh, that's not blue cable. Yeah, grab you. Go away. Right, you. Now, why are you up to there? Because I'll need somewhere to store the memory of that. I better name it too, hadn't I? Yep. Nope. Just the nitrogen memory, that'll do us. Oh, I can see that in the crack. Now I needed a chip. So I'll have to print one of them. Look at that full battery. Oh, switching off those air conditioners, great. Yeah, I moved some cables and everything around. Straightened out a few things, moved a few things around. So I'm just confused as where everything is now. Right, so I need one of them. I can put that in the nitrogen one. I can pretty much just reuse the code that I've got in the other ones there for graphing our total moles, except I'll change it to temperature because we want to know what the temperature change is. And we're done. Now you are going to go into there because you don't have a chip in there yet. Now you, I can steal you, import you, you can do your thing again. Oh, that didn't make much difference. I expect a big step in the graph normally when you do that. There you. So we have the filter, the memory, and the old, not the gas, old temperature. Right, we need to know from the filter the temperature at the output. So I'll just remove that line from now because I don't know if we'll need it. So we want to know the difference. So we're reading the temperature into R0. The difference will be the current temperature minus the old temperature, which we're going to put into the memory, and then we've got to move the current temperature into the old temperature. Pretty simple. Export you. You won't like that yet because I don't have the memory in there. I need screwdriver. we had it's in these ones, isn't it? Hydroponic station. Oh, no device. What am I doing? Yeah, top one is memory. Can I get it? There we go. So I need the nitrogen memory, which is somewhere around here. No! Bad. Nitrogen memory, I only got the one, that's good. Where'd my chip go? It's in my hand. That doesn't chuck a wobbly, and I can't see the chip to actually know what's in it. So is that giving me a proper number? Give me a tiny number. So okay, I will multiply it then. Yeah, so we will multiply it by 100. Yeah, okie dokie. We can do that. Export you. And it's still a small number, but you know, that's good enough. So both of those air conditioners are working now to try and get that, because it is so cold. Yeah, they're working pretty inefficiently. That's all right. So I needed my graph, another graph. Never have too many graphs. So I have a console. Spare graph? No, why would you have a graph and not use it? Grab one of them. You. Gotcha. You. Cable cutters. I have to put you into there. Okay. Now if I connect you to the nitrogen memory, probably right at the top because it was the last thing we put in, or not. Two and two memory. There it is. Right at the other top. There we go. We have another graph. That's telling us that our temperature is going down, up, down, mostly down. Probably just when that second air conditioner switches on. So yeah, it's 36.2. It is definitely going down. That will freeze eventually. So now we were waiting for this to happen, weren't we? Yes, we are actually gaining steam there. Well, because I'm not condensing any of it. So I want to keep some in there. I don't have a reader on that pipe. Oh, not a digital one anyway. So I could read it from that. That one will know the pressure. Oh, this one will know the pressure. Our filter will know the pressure on the output of that. They are all linked via one-way valves. You're fine. They are all linked via one-way valves, so pressure in that one should be the same pressure all the way through. So if I read from the water filtration the pressure at the output, that will tell me what that is. And then if I've got, I don't know, half a megapascal, switch these back on. I could do that. So ich need my computer. Maybe not there. I do have a lot of surplus oxygen. I could probably pull out some of them. Move this up here so I can put some floors down, because we've got floors everywhere now. It is all nice and neat. Now they are switched off, so I can pinch that one. So if I import that code, we currently have dials, set points, responses. Okay, so I need to alias the filter we were going to get it from. She'll go to D3. Confirm. Let's you shut up. Let's take you to be the water filter, water filtration. There it is. Now, I don't want them switching on and off all the time and give me a noisy click, 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 click. Shut up, shut up. So I could maybe just turn them down to 0. So we've got our settings. So before I actually set it to them, I shall load into R1 because I'm using R0 for the setting. From the filter, the pressure at the output. Let's try some of them. Pressure at the output. We shall set greater than, set R1 if the pressure is greater than, I don't know, 500. That should be okay. Yeah, why not? Sure. That will leave enough steam in there so I always have something available for the composter to use. So if I run out of water in the composter, the composter stops and I don't get any more volatile, so everything stops there as well. So if it's false, it's 0. If it's true, it's 1. I can then just multiply that by that one there. So if it's below 500, you multiply the speed by 0 and you enter 0. If it's above 500, you multiply it by 1, which doesn't change it at all. Confirm. Don't use the screwdriver on the computer. So I'll put you into there. It's right. Maybe switch you on. There you go. Switch you on too. There we go. You're moving, you're doing stuff. We see we've got lots of water coming in. We see our nitrogen temperature is going up. So it's not going to freeze. I don't need to put any sort of a radiator outside to keep to pump a bit of extra heat into there. So that should improve the efficiency on these things, so as they can perhaps switch off eventually. Or not. Okay, fine. Yeah. That temperature's going up rather quickly until we run out of water, and it should stop. 500 and it's about to stop. And it didn't stop. No, there we go. It's shut off now. And you're cooling down again. Right, so that should just keep switching on and off as we get more pressure into here. It's still going down. Why are you still going down? Oh, you're switched on there. Once that switches off, yeah, now we're going back up again. Okay, so that is working. That has shut off. We are maybe going backwards in water. Our nitrogen's warmed up there, so that's not going to be so bad. It is cooling down still though. So we may still have to put a radiator on it there eventually, but maybe not today. Okay, so now what have we got? Now, so you're back to 0. Yeah, you're back to 0. You're good. Now my winter spawn are pretty much all done there. They're all perfect, well, 75% water usage ones there. I pulled out a few of the heavy drinkers there when stuff was getting too cold. I may have to plant them all again, depending on how we go. And we'll see though. Now, so we've got the perennials in there. I will get Larry to pick them once I have a sorter there, so they can go to the cooking station and the grass can go out to the compost. But I haven't got that there yet, so that might be a future mech problem to solve. So I'll probably have to move the cooker over, jam a sorter in there. It's probably going to be facing the wrong way or something stupid like that, isn't it? Sorter. Grab me one of them. Just one will be fine. These ones don't have a reverse, do they? Oh no, it's gone the right way. That'll work. It's got the sorter and the logic sorter. So we're needing the logic sorter for that one, because we can do it with logic. So that can fit into there, feed straight into the machine, and the other one can go out to the back. That is good. Put you there for later. Ooh, potato. Yummy. So, well, tell you what, it's been a while. Let's have a rundown of what the base was, or is. So, what we've got, let's switch it on. That's probably a bit much to look at, isn't it? I grab some paint. If I put the paint in my hand, it filters it out to a colour. Okay, so down here we have our winter spawn room. It is just hooked up to the vents. It's based around the room. That one's going to the airlock vent, and it's ventilating the room down there. Now this is hooked up to my 2 air conditioners, the purple ones there. They are heating the room, so they are set to 200 degrees. They either heat or they switch off. They are not doing anything, not trying to do any cooling. Now this one's set to come on at I don't know, 20 degrees, and this one's probably set to come on at 22 degrees or whatever we got in there. Yeah, maybe 22. So they don't fight each other. If you set them to hold a certain temperature, they might fight against each other because they're both set to heat to a temperature that is huge. They tend to just quite happily work together. So they are heating the room, stopping the plants from killing themselves and freezing themselves to death. And they are dumping all of that cold into the nitrogen line. Now I have the nitrogen pump feeding into there because the winter spawn need nitrogen to survive. They consume nitrogen. They produce volatiles and oxygen. Now we do have some volatiles. We've got 0.5%, which is safe for them. We've got some oxygen in there, 1%, but I'm not really doing much to get rid of that. A little bit of carbon dioxide, which is nothing for trace gases. Now the volatiles will build up in there and eventually kill your plants. Now I can just blow in a ton of nitrogen to flush it all out, but it's only 1%, so I'd have to put in enough nitrogen to fill that space 100 times to flush out the 1% of volatiles, which means I'd have to filter 100 rooms full of nitrogen back through here to get it all back again. So I have a volatiles scrubber in there. That's hooked into the purple pipe as well. It is just doing a filter out setup, whereas it's just pulling all the volatiles out into the volatiles pipe. So that's why we've got less volatiles in there than oxygen. But the nitrogen pump is set to pull, either maintain the pressure in there to 81 well, it's actually going to 81.1 kilopascals, and the vent is set to, the exhaust vent in there is set to 81 kilopascals. So it's just a little bit extra to keep gas circulating, but that is set to either maintain the pressure at 81.1 or blow in enough to make sure the volatiles doesn't get above 0.05%. And as we've got 0.05% in there at the moment, I'm saying the volatiles is probably the one that's overriding it all. So it is doing its thing. That's all right. That's doing what it's meant to be doing. Now, let's say the volatiles. If we grab the red paint, our volatiles are being sucked straight out into our volatiles pipe, which connects to our volatiles filter from our filtration system, and basically just goes straight to the water maker. That is all we are doing with the volatiles. We extract it from here. Any gas that comes into the exhaust vent or the overpressure vent from there will go into these three here, which will then extract volatiles and make sure none of it gets back into the base. But that's all we do with that one layer. Now our nitrogen is a little bit more complicated because we're using that as a coolant as well as other things. So it connects into our air conditioners. These are the ones cooling our winter spawn room. Now these ones are dumping all the cooling into the nitrogen, which is the reason it's cold. Now we, as I say, they are consuming nitrogen to get more nitrogen when I need it. Although it's not needed at the moment because I've got plenty of it. We have a nitrogen filter which is getting gas from our night gas, which is up on the roof there somewhere. Our storm gas, not night gas, storm gas. So it just filters out the nitrogen and dumps everything else outside. Puts the nitrogen into the nitrogen line, where it's used as nitrogen. I say nitrogen feeds back into the winter spawn room because, well, we need it in there. It also filters back into the main room because, well, I probably just pretty much need that there to push some of the oxygen out. And it is also being used to cool this room as well. The yellow air conditioner is on the yellow pipe for the room, and it is dumping all its heat into the pipe, where this one's dumping all the cold into the pipe, and currently the cold is winning because the temperature's going down. So that's what we've got there. So our next one up is probably our waistline. So we have an overpressure vent there in the main room, an overpressure vent just in here in the winter spawn room. Any excess pressure from here, we've got it set up so that it will blow excess. Base will overpressurize. This is just to take out the excess. So I've got nitrogen blowing into here. I've got carbon dioxide coming in, which is just actually outside gas from the storms. And as they blow in here, they force the oxygen out through the overpressure line into our recycling system, and that is just a sequential system there. And most of the gas that goes in there is nitrogen, so I take out the nitrogen first, so there's less for the other ones to process. But we also have the volatiles and the oxygen coming out of there, and everything else will go straight back into the room. There shouldn't be, all that should be left is carbon dioxide, and that will go into our yellow pipe, which is our ventilation pipe, which goes all the way around the room to our old air conditioner, to our new air conditioner, and I say the overflow from the oxygen from our filtration system, CO2 gets put straight back into the room. Because I'm using, well, the plants are using the CO2, I'm constantly feeding in more CO2 right here, and yeah, so I should always be needing CO2 put in there, so I shouldn't have to extract it and store it anywhere. I'm just collecting it on demand and using it straight up. So that's the furnace. Don't pay any attention to that over there. So that is what we've got there for our room ventilation. And our last one there, of course, is our oxygen. Is filling up our oxygen tank and basically going straight down to the burner down here. Okay. So again, from our mixer we have our fuel system, which is just a very short pipe. Mixes fuel, which goes into the burner, which comes out as hot gas, a little bit of storage, very short pipe, into the water filter, and the water filter just takes out the water, or keeps the steam, and blows everything else straight outside. I could reuse that hot gas to heat my furnace, but I don't at the moment. Now to the back of the water filter, of course, comes the water. Let's get rid of the cables. Now the water will go down into this first pipe here, which is our primary cooler, just cooling down to atmospheric pressure. Goes through a one-way valve, which is a little gap there, into our secondary cooler. It's got some storage tanks on there to just try and keep it in there as long as possible. Once again, it is going back down to atmospheric temperature, so it's got some heap of radiators on that one there. So most of the cooling's done here. Pushes into the second one, it pretty much gets it down to atmospheric temperature from there. Then it goes into another short pipe with some storage, which has a heat exchanger on it, which will exchange heat with our night gas. So it goes on the heat exchanger, and it's exchanging gas with our thermal tanks. So not our night capture gas, which is kept cold. This is from our thermal tanks. We allow these ones to heat up. There's still storm capture there, but they do heat up as we go because we're dumping heat into it. And so once again, this air conditioner is dumping heat into it because it can, because I've got to send it somewhere. So that one will cool it down to basically storm temperatures, so about 370 degrees, a little bit higher, so I think our tanks are currently a little bit higher. They're currently 373 degrees, so that is not enough to condense water, but near enough. So once it comes through there, once again through a little one-way valve there, into the next stage, which is the one hooked up to this air conditioner. This air conditioner will cool down the steam to, well, it's going to try and do it to 20 degrees, but it just cools it down to about 370 degrees when it feeds into the hot water condenser. This one is just using its heat sink and its input there connected together. So once that gets down to 370 degrees, that pressurizes up to 6 megapascals, and that'll pull water out of there at about 370 degrees. Once again, it is going to the composter. The composter doesn't care. It will keep doing that until we have 1 litre of water into the pipe. That is a separate pipe. I can change my pipe. That's not stress. We have a temperature. Temperature. There we go. Oh, okay. It's kind of overwhelmed by the hot water coming out of the water maker, but okay. We can see. Let's go by stress. Okay, so the orange one there is pressurized because it is high pressure there because it's high temperature. So that one is separate from the other water pipes, which are all there as green pipes. Right, but if we, there we go, there's just water pipes. So that same pipe that is hooked to that one also goes to these ones. These ones are also connected to the nitrogen, and they will condense water down to 25 degrees or whatever it is. Probably a bit lower at the moment because it's switched off. Yeah, when it switches on, I think it goes to about 5 or 6 degrees. So I probably could turn down the response on this one here and get it a bit warmer, but we'll see how that one's going. Doesn't really matter. We've got a large thermal mass of water in here at the moment anyway, so 75 litres, yeah, we got plenty in there. It's not really an issue at the moment. But that is the water system we've got there. We can see, if we switch that one to, nope. Now if I switch it to temperature, there we go. We can sort of see how the outside is hot, and each one of these gets a little bit cooler as it goes through them all till it gets down to the room temperature. But because we've got the really hot pipes over there, it's a little bit hard to see. But anyway, that's about the tour of the pipes we've got on the base. So I can switch that off again now. And that's what we're working with at the moment. As I say, we have got water coming in. We've got temperatures holding pretty good. Okay, so that was getting cold. I thought we might have to put a radiator outside and try and suck a bit of more heat into it, but looks like we're going to get away with it. Battery's holding up with all these still running. Well done. Now this thing, we wanted to hook this into the alarm. How the hell am I going to do that? Oh, that's right. Now, we did do the hot dog base, but Wilson's turned up with the correct plans for the base. So it seems that my hot dog base didn't fool anyone. It was a cunning ruse though. Just a distraction. Because our real base, which nobody at all guessed and just assumed straight off, is actually a little bit different. Oh, it's about sunset. But we all live in a yellow submarine. Yes, we do. That's right, a yellow submarine. Well, there's a hole in it. Whoops. How's that? I couldn't quite get the tail right. Is it called a tail? The submarines have tails. They have a stern. You've got the periscopes all pointing in different ways too, just like on the picture. I think I did alright. Anyway, enough of that. It's called tail. No. Fish have tails. No, planes have tails. No, fish have tails too. What is it? Rudder. Probably a rudder. I'm going to go with rudder. Stern. The back part of the submarine. We'll call it the back part of the submarine. Right. Anyway, that was that. Now, we started doing a housing for this, for an alarm for this one, didn't we? Now, I want to get it onto the signs. So, how I think I shall use a binary encoding to set off all of our alarms. So, if I grab you, I got part way through it, and it didn't work. I'll change my mind. We got the memory, we got the room sensor. So the wind spawns, we got the room sensor in the winter spawn room, the room sensor in this room. We've got a memory to write our stuff to. I don't have a memory. I shall need to connect the green cable. Try that one. Nope. There we go. So I need to connect the blue cable to the green cable. So maybe in here. Yes, I'll grab a memory and put it just there, I think. I can pull that one off. Yes, I can. Well, that's off. There we go. So I shall need a memory, which I had a memory. Oh, I just used a memory. Yes, that's right. I remember. Yeah. Memories. Do 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 do. And you. So I should need an alarm memory, which I can yoink just allow. I should need to hook to the green cable there. And hook to the blue cable, which I do have blue cables. There. Right, so memories do have 2 data ports, so I can use them to communicate across networks. Right, now I had my chip. Oh, come here. Right, now I was going to just put through numbers there, but I've decided that's stupid. Because it will only be able to communicate one error at a time, not all of them. But if we set up a binary encoder, so we use 1 bit from each of that number there to indicate what an error is, we can then encode them all into the one number. So we start by, we are checking the filters. We're just doing a load batch slot from 0 and 1 to find out what's the minimum usage in each of those filters. If any of them are 0, it'll take the zeros, and we're taking the minimum of either of those two, because I can't query both slots at the same time, so I've got to do them separately. And then we take the minimum of those two. So if any filter has reached 0, that's all we care about. So set is it equal to 0, we're good. Now we have 1 is a storm incoming, or 0 is all okay. 1 is a storm incoming, 2 is a storm happening. So our next bit that we have available to us in our binary is bit 4. And we shall then move that into R0. Move that into alarm, which we've got there definitely. Now we're checking the temperature. Make sure it's not too high or too low. We shall multiply that by our next bit, which we have available, which is 8. And I actually just now need to add that to alarm. Add alarm. Alarm and R0. And it is checking the pressure in the window spawn room, make sure it's not too high or too low, and we shall multiply that by our next bit, which is 16. And copy you, paste you, and add it to the alarm again. Now if I put you to the... oh, come on. And I'll probably write it to memory as well, shouldn't I? Save to the memory. Oh, I'm not going to be able to type today, am I? Memory setting alarm. So I just put it onto the housing there just so as we can see it and make sure it's working. If I export you, put you into there. You don't like that. I need to set up any of the devices, which I don't have any of them. So that would help. Winter spawn sensor. Our room sensor, which I think we've called greenhouse. Because it was the greenhouse when we put it in there. Greenhouse sensor, there it is. And our memory, which is the alarm memory. I want to call it alarm memory. It's not to, well, that's the only one I got, so I guess that really does kind of identify what it is. So you will be the... you're probably going to be still under L. H. Alarm memory. There we go. Now, reset you, switch you on. You are giving us state 4, which was change your filter, which is good. So if I change my filter, volatiles. My alarm should go back to 0. Oh. And I can read that from the other side of it, which is looking at the sign. So if I change you, it's you, we're good. I might just keep you there for testing. That's all good. So you should have gone back to 0. You have gone back to 0, and you are, well, 0 as well. Okay. I can add more checks to that one at the moment. This will just work as a bit of an example. So there I want to go. I could add it to you. And probably just get back to work. Okay, so what do we got on this one? Not much. So if I alias the it's got memory to D1 because I've taken a heap of other stuff off there. So if we go to D1, storm collection, I'm not using that anymore. No, I've just got back pressure vents now, haven't I? I want the alarm memory. Okay, we're good. Don't use a screwdriver on that. So that sign. So it's this section here. Loading the mode, setting the vents on. Okay, so it's this section here. This is the bit we want. So that is just setting the vents on. That one is setting our back pressure regulators. And that one's our airlock one. So it runs all the way through them. So I might just move this down the bottom because it's probably going to get messy. So I shall alias the alarm to R10 because I'll probably need to use that a fair bit. And I shall say yeah, we'll keep you as well. X V X V. Oops. Yeah, you. Okay, so setting our vents, we're setting our back pressure regulators, we're looking after our airlocks. We are now down to the alarm sign. So next weather vent time, I still want to do that. So I want to take you and so we're going to reorganize this so it makes a little bit more sense. Right, so you want to know when's the next weather event time and put that into the setting input for the counter. Done. You want to load, now we want to actually set the sign. Set the message on the sign. So for this we want to read through each of the, wow, okay, this is going to be interesting. So we shall load to load into the alarm from the memory the setting. So that'll grab whatever's come from the other side of it there. I can add, so if I load the mode, let's go back to R0 the way we normally do. That's not something we want to do, that comes down later. So you load the mode, load the setting, I shall add them both together. Alarm, alarm, and R0. And our flasher will go on based on alarm. So let's just move you out of there for the moment. Okay. So now if I get rid of that, export you, we're still going, we're good. So now our lights come on. The sign's been disconnected, so it's not going to do anything with that. Right, so whenever we get an alarm from here, it should switch on the alert. Now the sign, I have to get to do that. So now it has to read through each of the counters. It has to read through each of the pins to find out which one is active. If one is active, it needs to pause for a game tick and show it and check through all of them. So I'll need a counter. Counter to R11. Move counter 0. Just make sure counter is at 0. So we shall go through the loop. We shall add counter, increment the counter. I should probably do that at the end because I will need a 0. Alright, the counter will go at the end just before we go back to the start. So now I shall want to, now it is a bit map. So I shall want to shift our bits to the right successively and check each bit. So I shall shift right logically the alarm, I'll put into R0 the alarm, shift right logically by the counter, however much the counter is. Then I should be able to AND. Now AND is a bitwise operator, so I'm essentially masking it. So we're moving the bits across to the right and we're checking it. So R0, R0 and 1. 1 being of course the binary of 1. So the alarm will come back as a code to message you 100111 whatever. So we're moving everything across into the rightmost bit and then ANDing it with 1, so it should either say it's true or false. It should give us a result of 1 if the rightmost bit is 1, and it should give us a 0 if the rightmost bit is 0. So that one there. So now I shall need to put the counter. So if that's true, so what are we going to do? I'm going to, if it's true, I want to display that alarm and then go back to this. Now I'll then have to increment the counter. Okay, so branch relative equal to 0. If R0 is equal to 0, branch relative by how much? Well, I shall want to display the sign, which will be counter, because that's the bit we're looking at. And we shall then yield so we got time to read it. So we shall branch relative 3, so skip the next 2 lines and jump down to here. There's 3, 1, 2, 3, and that's when we can increment the counter. And carry on. So once the error has been cleared, what's going to be displayed on the sign? Oh shit. Well, is that going to work? Okay, now I have to set. So we add one to the counter. So set greater than. So if set our so set R0 if our counter is greater than, I don't know, 5. How many alarms did I have on there? Now we'll use 5 for now. And select count COU and counter based on R0. If it's true, it is greater than 5, reset it to 0. If it is less than 5, just keep whatever is in the counter. You export. Don't panic, that's good. If I yoink out my filter again, storm happening. That is not the right one. And yeah, it doesn't clear the message. Oh, right. So when our counter is at 0, it is checking the first bit, which is actually in alarm state 1. So I need to subtract 1 from the counter. Add 1 to the counter. Okay. So we'll say add R0 equals counter plus 1 and R0. And we'll need to add a 4 into that one. So skip 4 lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, keep going. Right, so now I should be able to say our 4th bit, if we come down to our sign, it is the 1x2 import, and we say change filter. Save, export you. Export you. You change filter. And that transmitter's right in the way of my sign, isn't it? It clears that, but it doesn't clear the sign. Well, I'll have to work on that, I guess, a bit. So I can add a few more different alarms in there. If I have multiple alarms going, it should cycle through them. So if I grab you and I import that, let's create an error on that one. Oh, now I could just switch that off. And if I put an error into there, we currently had 4 was an error for that one. So if I put in 8, I'll put you in as a 8. Well, you're not reading an 8 because I don't have one in there. 8 was for temperature and 16 is for pressure. So temperature and pressure. Let's say it is winter spawn temperature and winter spawn pressure. Export you. So temperature is on there, and if I grab a 16, it should come up with the pressure. There we go. Now if I put in say 12, which is a change filter and a temperature warning, it does give us both. Awesome. Right. Switch that off. Fine, I'll change the filter. Oh, no, that's right. I've got to find a way to clear that. Right, not quite sure how I'm going to do that, but I might worry about that during the... while no one's watching. So then I can get it wrong lots of times and not embarrass myself. But I'll add more error states to look after this room as well, and put in some more warnings. And yeah, I'll get that there, try and get it to clear the filter and return back to a state 0. Awesome. But anyway, that's probably about all we've got time for today. So until next time, happy building. See ya.